Hello everyone, welcome back to your YouTube channel AgriAddict. I'm your mentor for this crash course on horticulture. I am Dr. Deepthi. I've been graduated in horticulture from Agriculture University, Hyderabad. I've done my master's from GKVK University of Agriculture Sciences, Bangalore, in the Department of Fruit Science. I have later finished my PhD in horticulture from Varietal Horticulture University, Tadapalligudam, Andhra Pradesh. During my academic journey, I have secured All India 21st rank under ICR AIEEA PG entrance exam during 2005. I've also cleared my ASRB net for the years 2008 and 9. So today let us start our discussion on the production technology of mango. So first we'll start with the botanical description of mango. The botanical name of mango is Mangifera indica. The family is Anacardiaceae. The chromosome number is 40. It is termed as amphidiploid. Then the origin is Indomerma, which is Southeast Asia. The fruit type is drupe and the edible portion is mesocarp. So let us introduce the crop. So it is popularly known as, we all know that mango is popularly known as king of fruits. It has been planted in India since time immemorial. So we don't know exact time when the plant is being cultivated. Earliest written records are present in the ancient Sanskrit literature of pre-Buddhist era. So the earliest name was given to mango in India is Amrafal. You have to remember this. Then the classical Sanskrit poet, that is who is Kalidasa, he praised the mangoes in his poems. Then eulogized as not only the king of fruits, it is also called as national fruit of India, ambassador of Indian fruits, the choicest fruit of India, pride of garden, bathroom fruit, and symbol of love. So there are also important points for this crop. If you see why this mango is called as these terms, because the Indian varieties are sweet, delicious in taste, with excellent flavor and attractive appearance. Among all the fruits, the Indian mango varieties are excellent in taste and flavor. Then it is the richest source of vitamin A among all the fruits and also some other nutrients. Then the tree is very hardy in nature and has comparatively low maintenance cost. So it can thrive well under any circumstances. Mainly it is grown as rainfed crop in our country, and its orcharding can be commercially viable and may yield very remunerative return by the adoption of new technologies. So that is the reason why mango has been given this many terms. Then besides India, if you look, the neighboring countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, Brazil, and West Indian Islands are mango is being cultivated commercially. Then if you look into the area and production, India ranks first among the world's largest producing countries, which accounts for about 45%. Almost half of the world's mango production is from India only. Then if you look under worldwide, the production is mainly concentrated in Asia. So that to Southeast Asia, which accounts for 75%, followed by South and North America, which holds a 10% share. Then each. And then the major producing states in India are Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Gujarat, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, and West Bengal. The other states, to some extent, mango cultivation is also present. Then as per NHB 2022, India produced around 20,946 metric tons from an area of 371,000 hectares with a productivity of 8.3 tons per hectare. So this statistics is also important for your exam point of view. Then let us look the uses of mango. Almost every part of the mango tree is being utilized in some of the other purposes. First, if you look, the fruits, young as well as ripe and unripe fruits are utilized for culinary purposes. Then for the preparation of pickles and chutneys. So it is very important that mango is being used for preparation of pickles and during the summer season. So it is very popular in the south of the country, southern states. Then comes the ripe fruits, which are mainly used for table purpose. So eaten fresh or in preparing of squash, nectar, jam, cereals, flakes, powder, baby food, and the popular one is aam papad, that is mango leather, and also toffee. Then the leaves, the tender ones are also used as vegetable in some part of the country. Then the ash of the burnt leaves as a household remedy for burns and scalds to some extent. Then fumes from burning leaves gives relief from hiccups as well as infections of throat. Then the flowers are also used. The fresh ones are used for preparing a cuisine called otto, which is called attar. Then the dried ones have some curative properties like in the treatment of diarrhea as well as chronic dysentery in case of Ayurveda or Unani medicine. Then the bark yields a tannin or a polyphenol, namely mangiferin. You have to remember this term. Mangiferin, useful for treating the diphtheria, fevers as well as rheumatism. And then the wood is used for making furniture, flooring, tiles, packing boxes, and matchboxes. Then the peels and stones are also utilized. They are not going waste. They are used for the preparation of vinegar, dietary fiber, and also as edible fat. Then we look into the botany of the crop. So mango is medium to large in size, evergreen tree, which grows to a height of about 30 meters with an open and dense symmetrical canopy, and it has long taproot system with dense fibrous roots. Then the leaves are lanceolate, simple, and leathery in texture. So you all know here you can see they are very long, lanceolate, and simple leathery in texture. Then the inflorescence here you can see it is a branched panicle. So it is called inflorescence is called panicle here. Then which bears both male as well as bisexual flowers, that is hermaphrodite flowers. Then the fruit is called a fleshy drupe with variable size, shape, and color according to the variety. Then fruits are single-seeded, which may either mono or polyembryonic in nature. So they may have either single embryo or some of the varieties are polyembryonic in nature. So they may bear 2 or 3 vegetative embryos from a single seed. Then if you look into the nutritive value of the fresh fruit, so the sugars comprise of both the complex as well as simple sugars like glucose, fructose, and maltose. Then the TSS content for the ripe fruits, which ranges from 12 to 23 bits. Then total sugar varies from 8.7 to 17.3 percentage. Acidity is 0.1 to 2.38 percentage. Then the energy value for 100 grams of edible pulp is around 60 kilocalories. Then the species. So here we have seen Mangifera indica is a species which is largely cultivated over the country, entire country. But if you look into the morphological and ecological characteristics, around 41 species of this Mangifera mango has been identified. Among those, Mangifera indica, as I've already mentioned, then Fotida, Odorata, and Sylvatica have been cultivated as fruit crops to some extent in some places. Then other species they have edible fruits also, seem to have potential value as rootstock. So most of the other varieties apart from these other species apart from these species are largely being used as rootstock as breeding material against biotic and abiotic stresses. So some of the species and the features which they possess as a possible rootstock are the first one is Altissima, Mangifera altissima, which is resistant to leaf hopper, a pest which is of major importance. Then Casturi, Mangifera casturi, which has a feature like fruit with black and purple color. So it can be used for breeding purposes as well. Then Mangifera laurina, which is resistant to anthracnose. Mangifera odorata, highest in TSS. The sugars in the fruit, which is around 21.7 bricks. Then Mangifera similis, which is a free stone. So almost rudimentary stone is present in the fruit. So it can be also used for breeding purposes. Then after going from species, the different species of Mangifera, then we are going the varieties under Mangifera indica. Then India is a home of for about 1,000 varieties. So under this Mangifera indica only, there are around 1,000 varieties, out of which only 20 varieties are commercially being cultivated all over the country. Then most of them have originated as superior chance seedlings from natural processing or gene mutations. So most of the varieties have occurred naturally and some of them are man-made, out of which only 20 varieties are being cultivated on a large scale, commercial scale. These selections were later maintained true to type through asexual propagation. So first, in order to get a variety, you have to go for hybridization or natural selection. Thereafter, in order to maintain the true to type for that variety, we have to go, one has to go by asexual means of propagation, by stem, leaf, root, and all the vegetative parts can be used for vegetative can be used for multiplication of the thereby cultivar. Then among all these cultivars, almost all are monoembryonic in type. However, some deviations are there, as I have told you. So the seed bears either the zygotic embryo or the polyembryonic embryos. So they exist in India, much inferior to in fruit size and quality, but their fruit size and quality is not up to the mark for commercial production. Then these polyembryonic varieties exist naturally. So the varieties are Papakai, Chandrakaran, Bellari, Goa, Kurukan, Nileshwar Dwarf, Olor, Patan, Salem, Mazagon, Mailapayam, and Velekkolambam. These are the especially concentrated in the Malabar coast of the Kerala, so west coast. Then polyembryonic varieties, they are also introduced from other countries, so to India. And among them, the cultivars are apricot, Simons, Higgins, Pica, strawberry, Cambodia, turpentine, and so on. Then if we classify the varieties, varieties can be classified suitable for different regions of the country. So if you look, the country can be divided into northern, eastern, western, and southern region, and the different cultivars which are popular, commercially popular in the northern region are the Dasheri, Langra, Chausa, and Bombay Green. Whereas for the eastern region, the Himsagar, Langra, Fazli, Lakshman Bog, Kishan Bog, Gulab Khas. Then the western region, Alfonso, Kesar, Rajapuri, Pairi, and Jamdar. Then the southern region, the popular ones are Banganpalli, Totapuri, Neelam, Suvarnareka, Malgova, and Badami. These are the mostly commercially cultivated and popular varieties among the different regions of the country. Then if you see the cultivars can also be categorized based upon the regularity of the flowering. So generally North Indian cultivars are alternate bearers. However, South Indian cultivars, most of the cultivars are regular bearers. So on and off seasons, we can call it as, if during one season, if they give more production, the coming season, the subsequent year, they'll give less yield. So that is the reason why they are called alternate bearers. If you see, the under this category, we have regular bearing, biennial bearing, and off-season bearing. Here, the varieties are listed here. So regular bearings like most of the South Indian cultivars like Reenam, Vanesha, Nilishana, Amrapali, Mallika, and so on are some of the varieties, and hybrids are also categorized in this category. Then biennial bearing is like off-season and on-season. So Alfonso, the Sherry, Langra, Chausa, most of the south and eastern varieties are comes under this category. Then the off-season, so sometimes not only they give only one season, they also flower during the other seasons. So usually flowering will be around November, December in general for most of the cultivars. But however, we can observe in some of the other seasons also, some of the other months during the year also. Those are royal special. So this you have to remember for your exam point of view. Then Baramasi, Pandiri Mamadi, and Alipasan. So these are the off season varieties. Then if you look into the other division of cultivars. It is based upon utility. The first one is stable utility. You all know that for consumption of the fruit fresh. Those are Banesha, Neelam, Bangalore, Romani, Alfonso, Mahmuda. Then juicy varieties. These are especially for the preparation of juice and squashes and also many for the preservation purpose. Or we can have them directly also. That is Chinnarasam, Pedarasam, Cherukurasam, Kottapalli, Kopari, then Panchadara, Kalasa, Panakalu, then Firangileddi, and so on. So many are there for juicy varieties. So cut fruit varieties are table varieties, then juicy varieties are this. Then comes the table and juicy varieties. So this can be, these fruits can have both the qualities. So those are Chinna, Suvarnareka and Peter. Then pickle varieties. I've been telling you pickle is important preservative material for mango. That is Achari Pasan, Telagulabi of newsweed, then Ali Pasan and so on. Then the varieties for preservation are Baneshan and Bangalore. So you can preserve them into different products. So almost most of the table varieties and some pickle varieties can be preserved into different products. Then the one more classification is also there based upon the time of availability when the fruit is available. So the first one is early varieties. They are much before the season, that is April, May. Usually the fruit is available in the market for the consumers. Then, however, early varieties like during the early of the year, like January only, we can get January, March, January to February. From February, March only, we can get these fruits like Oler, Ronet, Alfonso, Suvarnareka, Panakal, and so on. Then the mid-season varieties like Baneshan. So April, May, and June to some extent are Mallika, Chinnarasam and all. Then late varieties, some of them even in the June also the fruits are available. Malgova, Amrapali, Janardhan, Pasan, Neelam, Bangalore and so on. Then we have off-season varieties. So they are available almost the year round or during the peak season. Apart from the peak season, they are available. So those varieties are Romani, Neelam, Varanasi, Bangalore Royal Special and so on. Then if you look, so I'm not going into the details, but varietal description is also very much important for some of the important cultivars which are grown in our country. The first, we are going alphabetical order. The first one is Alfonso. It is most popular in Ratnagiri area of Maharashtra. Then some extents of Gujarat, Karnataka, and it has a good sugar. So for table purpose, it is very much important. But however, only one negative is that it is susceptible to spongy tissue. Then comes Banganpalli, which is also very popular cultivar among the South India, especially commercial variety of Andhra Pradesh. It also have a good quality fruits. It also bear good quality fruits. Then comes Bombay Green, earliest varieties. So you have to remember like earliest variety of North India. It has high vitamin C, and it is the major drawback is it is susceptible to mango malformation. Then we have Chausa, late variety of North India. It matures during July and the beginning of August, and it is shy bearing. Shy bearing is alternate bearing. Then Dasheri, it is one of the most popular variety of North India, and as I've told you, it is also shy bearing and mid-season variety. Then coming to the Fazli, it is popular in Bihar and West Bengal, the eastern region. Then it is also late maturing. Then Gulab Khas, indigenous to Bihar, mid-season variety with a rosy flavor. So that is the reason why Gulab Khas, the name has given like this. Then Himsagar. So you have to keep a note on all this, and you can expect at least one question from each of the fruit crop. So among the varieties or the hybrids only, they're going to concentrate. Then comes Himsagar, popular variety of West Bengal. Then Kesar, Saurashtra of Gujarat, which have red blushes on shoulder. It is good processing quality. So for fresh juices or squashes, it is used popularly. Kesar. So it is like Kesar yellowish to orange color, red to red color. So that is the reason why it is used. So orange to red color on the shoulders. yellow apricot, yellow color, attractive yellow color when we cut the fruit. So that is why I have told you yellow color. Then Kishanbhog, mid-season variety of West Bengal as well. Then Lal Sundari, resistant to powder mildew. So some of them have negative side, then negative characteristics, some varieties. If you look, the resistant varieties to powder mildew, resistant varieties to some of the physiological disorders that need to be taken care of. You have to remember those. Then Malgova, which is popularly known as the mother of you can remember like this, of all Floridan colored varieties, which have been introduced by USDA at Florida. So this Malgova is introduced into USA, especially the Florida state, and then from there the breeding works have done. So that is the reason why it is called the mother of Floridan varieties. Then Madhulika, it is off-season bearer. You have to remember that, and it is early precocious. So it is early bearing. Then comes Langra. So the term Langra, you know that it has a different shape. So altogether you have to remember like this. Then it is a biennial bearer, shy bearer, mid-season variety with turpentine flavor. This you have to remember. Then Mancrod, a popular variety of Goa. Then Neelam, South India, but however it is a regular bearer with late season. It comes somewhat lately after June. Then Pairi, coastal Maharashtra, including Goa, early maturing, heavy and regular bearer. Then Niranjan, off-season bearing. Then Rosica, you have to remember this. This is a mutant variety of mango, natural selection. Niranjan from Parbani during 1889. Then Totapuri, it is also a popular variety, processing variety of South India. Then Zardalu, it is a mid-season variety of Bihar. Then after knowing all the cultivars, let us know the man-made hybrids, different mango hybrids. And here you can see a table which shows the hybrid, their parents and distinguishing characters. Not only that, from where, which fruit resistation it has been originated, it has been made. The first one is Nilishan, Neelam into Vanishan, late maturing, Neel Gova, Swarna Jahangir. The parental, this also, the hybrids, their parents and information also is required, and the distinguished characters you should keep in mind. Some of them you have to write down, and then you have to remember them. Then the fruit resistation, Sangareddy from Telangana. So popular one is Manjira. Then IRA, you have all the Arcas hybrids, Aruna, Punit, Anmol. Then their parentage, parental information, then distinguishing characters. Then from IRA, the first ones we all know, Amrapali and Malika. So ADN and MND. So like that you have to remember. The sherry to Neelam and Neelam into the sherry. Then fruit registration Vangarla, Ratna and Alfonso. These are the earliest hybrids which have been the hybridization work have been made in the early 90s. So you have to remember them. Ratna is Neela Alfonso, Neelam into Alfonso. Then it is a Bracos progeny of Ratna into Alfonso. Then you from UP, it is Prabha Shankar. Then again Maha Mugdabahar, then Jabahar. Then from Periyakulam, Tamil Nadu, it became series. So became 1 and 2, Suvanareka into Neelam, then Neelam into Alfonso. So bearing fruits in clusters. So you have to remember a little bit about varietal description, but however, the parentage is much more important. And some of the other important or the latest you can see here, the Sai Sugandh, which is a cross between Totapuri and Kesar from MPKV, Maharashtra, Ravuri. Then high percentage of bisexual flowers. You have to remember that. Sugandh, Sai Sugandh. Then Arka Prabhat, it is from IHR, new double cross. So you have to remember this double cross hybrid from Amrapali. So Amrapali is before they have from IRA they have released. Then Arka Anmol, which is also a hybrid, and this is the hybridization works from hybrids. So that is called double cross hybrids. So they are crossed hybrids, and then they got this Arka Suprabhat. So that is the term you have to remember, Suprabhat. Then some of the other which have been popularly under cultivation or here the checking is done is which are developed from Brazil, that is alpha, the Malika into Van Dyke, and beta, the Amrapali into winter. So this also you can remember because the study is also been done in India. Then Konkan Ruchi and Konkan Raja. This is from the Poli Maharashtra. You can remember. So their parentage also. But if you see IRA latest varieties apart from Malika and Amrapali, I told you in the early 1900s they are done. That one is Pusa Surya. So don't confuse with Tarka Surya. Likewise. That is another fruit or vegetable crop. Then don't confuse like that. And then it is Akshay from which is a selection of the sherry. Then Pusa Arunima. This is Amrapali into Sensation USA variety. This is also a new hybrid developed from IRF. So like this, you have to remember all of this, the cultivars as well as the species, cultivars as well as the hybrids are very much important. We offer 2 sets of free mock tests, which is accessible in our app and website. Make sure to take advantage of these tests to enhance your chair of preparation. But if you're seeking for a comprehensive mock test for the entire syllabus, you can enroll to our mock test bundle, which is available in our website for just rupees 299. We also offer online master course for this horticulture, which includes video lectures, study materials, previous year question paper discussions, mock tests, and also doubt clearing sessions. So the links for all the courses are given in the description box. Click on the link and register today. So coming to the soil and climate of mango production, basically mango is a tropical fruit crop. We all know that fruits can be divided into three different categories. Then it can be grown up to a height of 1500 meters above the mean sea level. Then the temperature requirement is around 24 degrees centigrade to 30 degrees centigrade, with an annual rainfall of 75 to 350 centimeter per annum during the year is ideal for its cultivation. The important consideration for mango cultivation are the main thing is it should a frost-free period at the time of flowering is a basic necessary for mango cultivation. That may be problem during in the northern parts of the country. But you have to see that the flowering, that is the reason why flowering will be delayed in most of the North Indian states. Then the second one is sufficient heat is required for the development of the fruit. So it should not the root should not undergo freezing or chilling temperatures during flowering, and the required heat is also required for the development of the fruit. So these are the main climatic requirements for the cultivation of commercial cultivation of mango. Then the soils, if you look into the soils, mango can be grown on a wide range of soils, from alluvial soil to rattled soils, but black bottom soils should be avoided, provided the soil is deep, up to 2 to 2.5 meters in depth, and also well drained. The ideal pH, if you see it, the range must be in between 6.5 to 7.5. Then if you look, the ideal soil is also there. It thrives well under red loamy soils, but very poor shallow alkaline rocky or calcareous soils should be avoided. However, for this abiotic stresses, rootstocks are also resident rootstocks or tolerant rootstocks are also there. We can go by grafting the desired C1 variety on this, but however it thrives well under red loamy soils. Then if you look into the propagation, as I've told you, in order to have two type plants, you have to multiply through vegetative parts, like vegetative parts like stems. That is here we have a veneer grafting, then inarching and epicotyl grafting. So these are the three methods of grafting which are being followed in all the regions, northern, eastern, western, and southern regions of the country for propagation of mango. Then June to September or October is the best season. So the monsoon season is best for grafting. However, polyembryonic seedlings are best in providing uniform rootstocks. For the rootstock, we are going for just cuttings. However, grafting with the desired variety is normally these three different types are being uh, followed. The first one, if you look, the inarching, it is one of the most widely practiced methods of grafting. One can get big size plant material for planting, and the success is around 95%. Then side grafting or veneer grafting, this is for in situ of old orchards. So the plant, the rootstock trees had headed back and then given a cut such that the Sion variety is also inserted, and thereby graft can be obtained. It is one type of grafting. Then epicotyle grafting is as soon as when the embryos start growing from the seeds. So the germinating seedlings of about 8 to 15 days are used for this type of grafting. So epicotyle or stone grafting, we call it as. It is practiced in the Konkan region of Maharashtra. To some extent to southern parts also nowadays. So these are the three different methods. The popular one is inarching. And then the rootstocks. Earlier we have mentioned the different species used as rootstocks. Now we'll see the different varieties like Kurkuran, which is salt resistant and polyambronic. Then Oler, vigorous rootstock. Then Rumani, Kalipad, and Vallai Kolam are the dwarfing rootstocks. So they if Sion is grafted on these rootstocks, they will not allow the plant or the tree to grow to too much vigorous or too much height. If the plants are dwarf, they can be easily accommodated in their under high density planting. And also the normal the horticultural operations or the cultural operations during the fruit growth and as well as fruit development, it is very much easy to take care of all these intercultural operations. Then we have other varieties like Muvandan and Ekir. They are salt resistant. Then Pulima, which is a prolific rootstock. So it is also very vigorous and it can be easily, it can be the rootstock can be grown easily. Then the planting time and the distance spacing. So the grass should be planted during the rainy seasons, as we have seen earlier. Then systems of planting here are square planting, rectangular planting, then hexagonal planting are being followed. The planting distances will vary with the vigor of the cultivar. So whether the cultivars are fast growing or the which they put forth more or less canopy, it all depends on the location also. However, among the square, the earliest methods, the traditional methods of planting is 10 by 10 or 12 by 12, which is in between those two. However, if you look under high density planting, it is 5 by 3 rectangular method or 5 by 2.5 hexagonal, then square 4 by 4 or 3 by 2.5, 2.5 by 2.5, one more square method of high density planting is usually followed. If you look into the different varieties, Amrapali is normally used for high density planting with the spacing of 2 by 2, 2.5 by 2.5, which accommodates 1600 plants per hectare. But, and Dashari, it is 3 by 2.5, which accommodates 1,333 plants per hectare. Here you can see normal spacing adapted for 10 by 10 is which accommodates 100 per hectare, 100 trees per hectare. But if we go for 5 meter spacing, it can accommodate 400 trees per hectare. Then ultra high density planting like Amrapali, which can accommodate 800 trees per hectare. So and this is a case for planting and spacing. Then irrigation. So irrigation is also very important intercultural operation. So the water requirement of the adult or the mature mango tree is approximately 1200 meter cube per hectare. However, it depends upon the seasonal water requirement. During winter, it just requires 20 meter cube, or during summer, it requires the double, that is above 40. రికార్డ్ చేస్తున్నాను. వీళ్ళింకా స్నానం చేయాలి. సరే. Mhm. So it is 20 cubic meter per hectare per day during winter, whereas it is exactly double, which is 40 cubic meter per hectare per day during summer. But if you look, mango on account of its deep taproot system, it requires very little irrigation for the first few years. But the usual system of irrigation is basic basin system. It should be held during October and to December. So October to December is the period where plants require more water during to induce flower and to water to be withheld. Sorry, water to be withheld during October to December, so that they to induce flowering in adult trees and to arrest the vegetative growth. So one of the important intercultural operation is irrigation under mango cultivation. If you look into the water requirement of mature mango tree, which is approximately 100 cubic meter per hectare per tree. However, according to the seasons, it may vary. Each plant required or each tree required 20 cubic meter per in during winters, which is exactly double. That is 40 cubic meter per hectare during summer. On account of this deep taproot system, the mango requires little irrigation for the first few years of establishment. Then basin system of irrigation is usually followed, but during October and November, to induce flowering, the water has to be withheld to induce flowering and to arrest the vegetative growth. That is a normal practice which is being followed under commercial propagation of most of the varieties. Then high yield and quality produce can be obtained by the trees that are irrigated and fertilized with drip irrigation. So nowadays, under high density planting, drip irrigation is the most popular method of irrigation. Because the water can not go waste and maximum utilization of the water can be achieved. And the trees also given 24/7. Then the peak water requirement of mango is when they are spaced somewhere around 8 to 10 meters is 70 to 50 to 70 liters per day. Then comes manures and fertilization. Manuring and fertilization. Then the first one is nitrogen, as we all know, for the growth and development of the any tree. Nitrogen is very much important for this mango. And then growth is improved if potash as well as phosphorus are also supplied under sufficient quantities. Then, however, if you look, mango can withstand the deficiency of phosphorus, but it cannot withstand potash. So potash has to be given at regular intervals for flowering. For growth and flowering. The following manuring schedule has to be adopted for vigorous growth of the tree during the early stages, that is during June, July. And however, if you see, the 50% has to be given under inorganic source. However, 50% has been given under organic source of such as manures like FIM and cakes, different plant cakes. Then for adult trees, the recommendation of 75 grams of 75 kgs of FIM, 4 kgs of ammonium phosphate, 2 kgs of super phosphate, and 1 kg of potash. So nitrogen, phosphorus as well as K, along with 75 grams of FIM is usually applied, is usually recommended, and which is applied for in the form of 2 split doses. And however, fertilizers are applied at the basins in the form of a ring around the tree, 2 feet away from the trunk. So these are spraying of zinc sulfate 5 grams per tree, and urea, that is 20 grams per liter during June, July, improves the crop growth and development. So zinc deficiency may normally observed in case of mango. Then comes pruning and training. So mango being an evergreen plant, it hardly requires pruning. So the pruning is usually the removal of the dead or diseased branches and crisscross branches in the early stages. But however, training is essential in the initial stages, like during 2 to 3 years, in order to provide a good framework of the plant, it is required. So at least 50 meters, sorry, at least 1 to 2 meters, the plant is allowed to grow the main stem, thereby they can put forth the main branches. Then pruning and training is highly advantageous in trees planted in high density planting. So high density planting, we have to take care. But however, if you are going for traditional system of planting with a gap of 8 to 10 meters spacing, then there is no requirement of this training only. The crop is allowed to grow as such. Then intercropping is also done in mango orchards, that is with the help of vegetable crops like tomato, radish, some of the solanaceous crops, cool crops and all, with less crop growth, short duration crops can be grown. Then among the fruit crops, falsa, papaya, guava, pineapple are also practiced in some areas. Then leguminous crops, mostly they are used for this intercultivation of mango, like cowpeas, anham, daincha, black gram, green gram, during the growth period, early stages, like during the juvenile period, less than 5 years. When the trees start commercial production after 5 or 6 years, then they are stopped. Then cropping comes under, as I told you, it comes from the graphs comes from 5th year onwards. Then good yields from 7th year we can notice to around the 15th year. Then it may continue until 50 years. So once the graft is established in the orchard, we can expect yields up to 50 years. So the growth of the plant is not hindered until 50 years. Then if you look into the flowering and fruiting, flowering and fruit set, mango, flowering in mango is closely linked with the time of flower bud differentiation. So this flower bud differentiation is very much important for the growth of the inflorescence, or the panicle is put forth after this differentiation process only. So it differs with the cultivars which are on the area which this crop is grown. If this flower bud differentiation takes place only after the cessation of the rains, that is during October and November, and the flowering occurs during the dry months. Then flowering is gradually delayed up to March if you go to the north and northwest regions. This variation is due to the temperature and rainfall, especially the low temperatures cannot allow the plant. Frost free should be there. These plants cannot put forth the temperature because the roots may get chilled. That is the reason why until the temperatures rise, then only we can expect the flower bud differentiation. Then the terminal bud, if you look, the terminal bud of the each shoot develops into inflorescence, but multiple panicles can also arise from the auxiliary buds. So it depends upon the variety to variety. Then some more important points under flowering and fruit set are, we all know that mango is highly cross-pollinated crop. It bears male as well as bisexual flowers. Then the inflorescence, the number of flowers per panicle varies around 1,000 to 6,000, or 8,000 to as peak as 8,000 to 9,000 flowers per panicle per inflorescence. We can see it depends upon the cultivar to cultivar. The percentage of perfect or bisexual flowers varies accordingly. So if you see among the varieties, it is 6 to 11% only out of the total flowers. Only we can expect 6%. If the flower bears around 1,000 flowers, among that only 60 flowers are bisexual flowers. Likewise, the shari, which is the top, which has 30% of bisexual flowers, the Neelam 16 to 55%, then Venetian 3.67 and Romani 0.74%. If you look the mango, it takes about 15 days, a fortnight for a tiny bud to develop into and open the flower for the pollination. Fruit growth and the pollination is by common housefly. Then fruit growth and development in the Sherry, Langra and Chauza varieties is a sigma type of growth curve. Then in Juha variety, it is double sigma growth curve. So the growth of the can be seen in two peaks. So it is sigmoid is one single peak, then double sigmoid is two peaks. We can see the growth of the fruit. Then the flower and fruit drop. So some of the physiological problems which occur in mango is the first main one is flower and fruit drop. So as the perfect flowers are very less, the percentage of very perfect flowers or the bisexual flowers is very less in one. Given that in any inflorescence, the young fruits develop only around 99% or more. So the amounting for the drop is amounting for about 99% or more. So almost less than 1%, that is 0.1 to 0.25% only, the bisexual flowers develop into fruits after pollination. So why this flower and fruit drop occurs? So it is a major problem in mango. Naturally, mango has a tendency to flower and fruit drop. However, some of the abiotic and biotic stresses may increase the intent increase the loss, greater loss to the growers. So increase the flower and fruit drops to some extent. A tree producing several thousand panicles yields only few hundred fruits, as I've told you. So the percentage development of fruit is very less. So that is the reason why if you have the panicle has around 5,000 to 10,000 flowers, you can expect only few hundred flowers from it. Then most of the flowers falling down after full bloom or later stages of development. The fruit drop can also be divided into three distinct phases. The first one is pin drop head. So when as and when the flower develops into fruit setting occurs, then at this stage pin drop head the fruits drop. Then post setting drop. Then after establishing the fruit, then one more drop is seen. Then the May drop, and because of the unnecessary rains and all, we can also expect May drop also. So these are the three different drops or the three different phases of the fruit development in mango. The drop can be observed. Then this flower and fruit drop, what might be the possible causes? Lack of pollination. So the pollination cannot occur in almost all the fruit crops, all the flowers in a panicle. So that is the reason why they drop naturally. Then low stigma receptivity. Then defective perfect flowers. The flowers may not be of perfect bisexual. Then poor tolerance transference. Then self-incompatibility might be a reason. Then drought or lack of irrigation. Then incidence of pests and diseases. Once, if you see, before the irrigation is withheld, before fruit bud differentiation, but however, after fruit bud differentiation, when the panicle put forth growth, then we have to give irrigation. So if we stop irrigation, then the flower drop and fruit drop also rises. Then incidence of pests and diseases, as we know. Then the control is we can go for control of growth regulators like 2,4-D 10 ppm or Na at 50 ppm at P stage as well as marble stage to prevent this fruit drop. Then one more problem is also there, physiological problem in the cultivation, commercial cultivation of fruit crops, that is biennial and alternate bearing. Or we can also say that it is shy bearing problem. This is a burning problem since it renders mango cultivation less remuneration. So one growers, less remuneration to the growers, one cannot expect more if the variety is of a shy bearing or alternate bearing. So it denotes yield variation in the alternate year. So year of optimum or heavy fruiting on the on year, followed by a year of less fruiting or no fruiting, that is called off year. So that is a major problem in some varieties. What might be the causal major causes? As I told you, this is of uh, the climatological, abiotic and abiotic stresses, and also the cultivar, depending upon the cultivar also, naturally, we can expect by alternate bearing. And the age and size of the roots, like the ratio of carbon to nitrogen, then hormonal imbalance have been identified in case of biennial bearing. Then for controlling, the growers prune the orchard with winter breaks, regular ploughing, liberal manuring, all the post cultural operations, adequate irrigation. This has to be taken care of to check the biennial bearing. Then spraying of ethereal at 200 ppm during October. Then soil application of paclobutrazole 2.5 to 15 grams A per tree during August, and spraying of urea and potassium metabisulfate may also help to some extent. Then other important practices which are normally followed for the fruiting and flowering are skirting, so removal of low branches, low hanging branches, then tip burning. The young brushes sometimes are burnt to mature just before flowering. So for this food bud differentiation also, in some countries or in some areas of the country, this tip burning is followed. Then ringing, removal of the bark in some shoots is followed to increase this fruit bud formation. Then dehorning is removal of overcrowding or intermingling branches to induce flowering. So taking care of those operations is also followed largely in Maharashtra, some places of Maharashtra. Then smudging and smoking, which is done in mango, especially in Philippines, mango production to induce off-season flowering and fruiting. So it is just a smoking, burning of dry leaves and in the orchard where the wind is blowing. There, if you burn them, the smoke or the smudge will go to the entire orchard where the plants are being planted. So it helps to some extent releasing of ethylene. So thereby fruit bud differentiations we can be noticed. Then bottom hold heat technique has been recently studied to enhance the routing of the plant variety and New Delhi. Then maturity indices. If you look, normally the attainment of the full size of the variety of any variety provided, attainment of the full size of the fruit is rendered as one of the best maturity index. And we also have here a term called tapka stage. It is a stage where one or two ripe fruits fall from the plant naturally. So that is when we can assume that almost the tree has almost all the trees fruits for the tree can be considered mature. So that is the stage when one can go for harvesting. If the fruit sinks in water, if it is dropped into water, indicates maturity. So if it sinks in the water, it is matured fruit. Where if it is it floats, it obviously a mature fruit. Then, however, apart from this maturity indices, some of the chemical qualities like specific gravity, TSS, pressure tests may also be, these are the destructive method of maturity indices. So cut open or we take the juice from the fruit, so thereby testing the fruit, maturity of the fruit for export purposes, especially the standards has to be met for export purposes. That is the reason why specific gravity of 1.01 to 1.02 has to be checked. Then the TSS should not be more than 15%. Then the pressure, fruit pressure should be around 1.75 to 2 kg per square centimeters. So which will give the fair index of the maturity by following all this. Then the harvesting and the yield. If you look, the harvesting is done manually by plucking the fruits, or by sometimes which are on the top, which can be cannot taken care of by an individual. Then we can go for mechanical pluckers. Then the yield depends upon the factors like age of the plant, soil fertility, climatic conditions, variety, type of planting material, whether it is graft or seedling, the management of the orchard. So all this put together, the yield is going to differ. So an average of 5 years tree, which gives around 200 fruits. So if you look into the, depending upon the age, then if you look into the age of 10 to 20 years, each fruit can bear up to 500 to 1000 fruits. So initial years, it can bear below 200 fruits, but the commercial stage, if each fruit which gives 500, about 500 to 1000 fruits per tree, which we call it as a commercial production, that is after 6 years or so. Then during the on year, then in some varieties during the off year it may reduce. But however, if you look, the commercial production is around 20 to 40 years. It may increase from 1000 to 3000 fruits per tree. But if you see the average yield per hectare, it is around 8 tons, depending upon the variety and locality. Then comes post-harvest management. So we know the chain of the post-harvest handling of the fruits, mango fruits. If you look, the first one is cleaning of the fruits, then pre-cooling with the help of hydro-cooling, cooling methods, or any air cooling methods we can follow, not generally followed by the growers. Then sorting for disease, damage, or injured fruits, then grading them according to the size, shape, color, and maturity for local and distant markets, or for export also. There have been specification. Then packing, generally made in bamboo baskets or CFP boxes. Then wax coating is normally given for export. That is Waxol for 3% at the rate of 3% to enhance storage as well as to delay the ripening also. Then transport and marketing by different means of transport, like fly, air transport, road transport, and sea transport, water transport. Then coming to ripening and storage. After harvesting and proper post-harvest handling techniques, then ripening, if you look, the systematic term is called climatic fruit. So the fruit matures, sorry, the fruit ripens as and when it is plucked from the tree. So thereby the ethylene respiration rate, ethylene rate are going to increase drastically when compared to other fruits. So that is the reason why mango fruit is called a climatic fruit. Then harvesting is done by at the physiological mature state. So once the fruits are mature and ripe enough, sorry, firm enough, then only they are harvested. After harvesting only we can notice the ripening of the fruit. So they are fruits mature 90 to 120 days after fruit set. If you look into the botany, so it will take at least 3 to 4 months for the fruit to grow from flowering to fruit set. Sorry, from fruit set to harvesting. Then ripening. Ripening, it takes at least 5 days after harvesting. So to enhance the ripening, we can go for a spray of 100 ppm. Then according to CISH London, Lucknow, for ripening of the mango trees, they recommended 100 kgs of mango dipped in 100 liters of water containing 62.5 to 187.5 ml of ethyl, and the temperature is around 52 plus or minus 2 degrees centigrade for 5 minutes. So this is the best method instead of going for any harmful chemicals. They have recommended this. It is better to remember the percentage or amount of ethyl or the ppm of ethyl, which is normally given in the form of gaseous or liquid. Then mango is generally stored at 8 to 9 degrees centigrade or to around 10 degrees centigrade also, with 85 to 90 percent relative humidity, where it can be stored for about 2 to 3 weeks. The firm ripe stage can be, we can expect at least 2 to 3 weeks. It can, by the time it can reach So after going through all the package of practices of the mango, then we also have to know the different pests and diseases of mango. So the major among them are mango hopper, mealybug, stem borer, shoot girl maker, stone weevil, fruit fly. So if we give in the form of a tabular form, then we can see the different insects. They damage how they damage, whether they damage the shoots, panicles, flowers, branches, or some of them may also damage the fruit. Um, and their control measures. So it is better to remember those control measures. Likewise, we also have diseases, different diseases and their management. The first one among them is powdery mildew. Uh, then comes anthracnose, sooty mold, blight, and some post-harvest diseases are also of prime importance. Those have also has to be taken care of. Then their management, application of different fungicides is also recommended. After the pest and disease management, um, it is important to know the different physiological disorders, out of which alternate bearing and fruit drop have been discussed before. So, like the alternate bearing and fruit drop have been discussed before in detail. Apart from that, problems, we also have some more problems like mango malformation. It is a compact mass of flowers and steady and bear only male flowers. So for that, plant growth regulators like auxins, that is Na 300 ppm in the first week of October, and pruning of malformed shoots is generally recommended. Likewise, the black tip, the distal end of the fruit, or the leaves or something also will form a black depression. For this, spray of borax at 0.06% is recommended. Then soft nose tip, the pulp softening is observed at the distal end. Then application of calcium carbonate. Then internal necrosis. The water we cut up in the fruit, water soak spots in the lower region. For that, borax. Likewise, spongy tissue. Spongy tissue, it is common in the northern, especially Alfonso variety. You have to remember that because of the convective heat and high solar radiation during the fruit formation. So for that, we have to harvest them early. Before the fur mature, at least the 1/3 of the fruit has to be mature. Then for fruit of also and alternate breaking also, spraying of paclobutrazole powder is tested for each tree at 5 to 10 grams per each tree. Likewise, the food drop also, I told you, spraying of auxins at different stages, P stages, and also marble stage is recommended. So that's all for today's class. We'll meet in the next class with another topic. Thank you.